Okay. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Inman.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Barker.
Here.
Drennan.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Lau.
Here. Number 3, surplus of police equipment. Discuss consideration, possible action on surplus of police equipment to another municipality.
I'm going to pass this around. We just accidentally did not get it on the last meeting, and we had talked with, I'm going to let you guys, go ahead, one of you step up here, so you can talk to them about this equipment. This equipment they're not using, so.
This is computers that we took offline. Y'all let us get the iPads to update. They'll sit there and rot away. Other agencies needing them, and it'll benefit them, benefit us with the money they receive from it. I'd rather put them to good use as what they are, instead of us just sitting there. There's CF19 Panasonic Tough Books. They are almost outdated. They can be refurbished at some point down the line, but that's...
Okay, Ray says on here that they were no longer in production as of 2017. Does that sound right? So we're not talking about anything that's new. I mean, these are older, out of date. So
they're touchscreen compatible. Most of the touchscreens don't fit on them or work on them anymore. Like I said, they're still useful for what they need. They wouldn't be compatible for what we use, the stuff that were implemented on our computers.
They're going to give us $1,500. Look.
So in our disposition, he sent me this. He said there are several options. You know, we can salvage and do competitive bid. We can offer the product as a trade on new. But E, he said we can use E. E says waive competitive bidding for the sale of obsolete supplies, material, or equipment when the majority of the city council determines that the competitive bid is not in the best interest of the city, and the majority of the city council votes to waive such competitive bidding. So if we competitively bid these out, you can buy them for
$365 refurbished for the same ones that we're selling.
online. I mean, but they know they can get these right now from us, and so I mean, the thing about it is we're probably not going to get more. I mean, right now this is a three. What's it figure out to be a piece?
$375 a piece.
$375, and yeah, I mean, so.
For a computer that's been outdated for almost 7 years.
I feel like that it's probably, if we put them up, we probably get half that.
Right.
You know, auctioning them, and this is going to another police department, so there's benefit.
Anybody have any questions or?
But you do need to agree to E.
Yeah.
So.
We'd have to have a motion.
I'll make a motion to waive the competitive bid and allow, what's the city? Elmore City to purchase for the amount assigned.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Lau.
Yeah.
Hall.
Yes.
Drennan.
Yes.
Barker.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Inman.
Yes. Number 4, restructure bank accounts. Discuss consideration, possible action of restructure of bank accounts.
Okay.
I think we've got some
Yeah,
information.
so there is no secret what's happened. We went to the bank today and visited with the FDIC. After going into the bank, I was a little worried just because I hope I never have to deal with again and have never dealt with. So when we went in, we were pretty much reassured that our securities are good. And so we feel like that if there is any loss, it would be extremely minimal. When we had figured it, we might be looking at $4,000 or $5,000, which would be kind of our interest money. When they were looking at it today, I even felt better about that, like all of it would be covered. So I'm feeling good about that. I asked them how long they thought that it would take to be back up and running. I'm like, 2 days, 2 weeks, just give me an idea. And they basically said maybe even by tomorrow. Did you guys all get that same message? So I was kind of hoping we would know tonight. They thought they might have a determination before the meeting tonight, and they were going to call Lisa, but we don't have it tonight. But with that being said, I had already talked and had mentioned that I was looking at wanting to diversify out some of our money. And last week, we had an incident where we had some of our collateral had been sold, and I went back to the bank and said, we're not covered. They said, yeah, you are. And I said, no, we're not covered. I have to have monies covered. And they said, they called me back then later in the week and said, we're not going to be able to cover it. And we made the decision at that point. Lisa has the authority to protect our money. We transferred money to the other bank. It is sitting there waiting for your approval for us to make this an active account, put our people on that are our signers, and this is LPWA. On the LPWA side, the city side, we felt like was completely covered, and we weren't protecting that. And when we talked to Ray, he said, yes, you have the authority to protect your money. So I need several things to happen today. One is on the money that we moved, we need to ratify that decision, and we need to put on, say who we're going to allow to be signers. And typically that's the mayor, vice mayor, the treasurer, and Lynn as our financial officer. But I'm going to request something else, and I've talked to the banks. I want myself and Liz as a view-only access on the accounts, because I was working blind. I was literally having to call Josh and say, Josh, can you get me an account balance? I just want to be able to see them. I absolutely want no ability to touch them. But it would have been nice to work with numbers like I could see. I think that's a fair request. But again, view-only access, and that's how I want it written. No ability to touch any of the funds, transfer any of the funds, because I don't want that. I want to be able to make the decisions, and then another step is somebody else dealing with the funds. So I would also like the authority to open a second account there on the city side. We want to go ahead and start putting some money at American Exchange to do the city side and to do same people. It'd be mayor, vice mayor, treasurer, and I want the same thing. I want view access, and Liz to have view access. At some point, I don't even think I think if you want to do it right now, because it doesn't have to be done this minute, I will eventually ask to put maybe some of our CDs in the other bank. So we have everything in 3 areas that we can have access to if anything ever happens. Let's hope it never happens again, but also we're going to be prepared. So if you want to put that in, or if we want to do that a little bit later, I don't care. I'm not going to go do that right this minute, but at some point I will be back to say, yes, I want to move some money there, or start building some money there. The other thing is, we had to do paperwork today with the FDIC, and they're dealing with Lisa. I would like for you to make sure and give her that authority to make sure we don't have any issues in this time of dealing with the FDIC. So those are the kind of the things that I need to happen on a motion, and you can do them like one at a time if we want to do that. But both of the options would be signers at both banks, just to make sure that we're going to have to clean up anything at the new bank, which would be First Bank and Trust, and at the American Exchange, and that we can just go take care of what we need to take care of.
You guys all, I was both places, both times, and Josh was too, and Don was there today, but basically FDIC, and probably most people know this, took over the bank, and then they sold the bank to Duncan
First Bank and Trust.
First Bank and Trust.
Yeah.
And so it's it's an unfortunate deal, but I mean, that's the way it happened. And anybody says anything different, that's exactly what happened. I mean, and so these people, cordial today, and we're trying to get everything, all the city's money that we can, every penny, and that's what we hope happens. And they were I think trying to help us, I got the impression for sure. But, you know, it's not them, but we're trying to work through it, make it the best possible way. And guys, if Sally hadn't acted, and Josh, last Thursday, we'd been in a bind. So I appreciate you stepping up and taking action, because that, we just been in a bind. Josh, I think, helped on that too, so owe them a debt of gratitude for doing that, because it's, everybody said, well, you should that. Well, how would you know? It was just they're on top of things and checked and found out and made a good decision, so.
I will tell you too, we already have our pledge on our money that has been moved, so it's already covered at the other bank, so.
And the people that came in there, we met several people from Duncan, seemed very nice and very cordial and wanted to work with us. But, it's an unfortunate situation, but that's where we stand and what happened. So anybody have any questions they can ask, and but basically I think that's the whole 9 yards, isn't it?
How long of a process is it gonna be with the FDIC?
We may actually, as soon as tomorrow, have, they talked to us today, we went through all the accounts. They even have to ask what they're for, because there are some different limits that go. I learned a lot today. Different accounts have different protections. So there may even be some potential more money on their side that's protected, but our securities are good, so we're okay either way. But they were going to take all of that, then they have a group of attorneys that look over it and make those determinations, and she said, tomorrow we could have our money released, so.
See, I thought she said Monday. That's what I thought.
Well, originally, she said it might be later, but then she
Came back and said. Yeah.
And I, she can't say yes. I mean, she can, because she's tight, but
It has to
go
go
through the attorneys and stuff,
No, I understand that.
It sounded a bit like we're going to answer.
I was just thinking, is it gonna like be a 60 or 90-day process?
And no, it didn't sound like that at all.
At least not for us.
No, because of the way we're set up and having the securities, we're in a different, than somebody that's got unsecured money.
Yeah.
Our money was secured by not FDIC, but by the other standard that has to be met for government entities. So we are good.
Okay.
The only thing they said that would be like a protracted time frame was like 3 to 4 weeks on getting any of our loan information
Yes,
on like the
that
fire truck and
is, that
stuff.
could be delayed.
That could be delayed because the new bank hasn't actually bought those notes from the FDIC yet.
Yeah,
Well, they're still working through it.
yeah.
One of our notes isn't due until May, and the other one, we're just getting started, and they're gonna help us try to find what, so, I mean, that should not be a big problem either on our part. And they basically told us that those would be 2 loans they will
They
pick
will
up.
purchase them when
Yeah.
they come available to do
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
And I think they're trying to help the city out, which I appreciate them, because they're new, and they said eventually there will be somebody that comes in new that will be in charge here and be here.
So basically,
Day in, day out.
we'll have the LPWA account at American Exchange, and then we'll have the city account at
No,
First.
we'll have both accounts at both places, because what I've
Okay.
come to realize is, you got to be able to operate both wherever. And even if it's a computer glitch or whatever that shuts you down, you need to be able to access money. So it's just better that we have, now, we have little accounts. We're not going to duplicate those everywhere. I mean,
No,
we're
but-
just not. But,
I'm just asking, deposit-wise, how are you gonna determine?
well, that'll be a decision we'll make internally. I will tell you, my first city, I made deposits every day to 3 different banks. And I honestly hated it. But, you know, looking back, I can see now the benefit and having money. So we'll determine, you know, if we're going to do, you know, so many deposits, or when we hit so much money, then we're going to start at the other bank. I mean, I think that's something internally. We'll sit down with our accountants and we'll make a decision on where we're going to build.
Yeah.
You know, again, not something they give you a handbook for. So I'm having to learn as I go here on this one, and but you know, I'm comfortable now that we're not in any kind of big danger of losing any huge amounts of money by any means, and so but I don't want to ever be even feeling like I felt on Friday about, you know, our stuff where it needed to be. And I mean, I know Lisa's done a great job. Like, she's on top of our collateral now. Before this, she was on top of it. You know, and if we get close, then we were on them.
FDIC people were complimentary of their, you know,
Yeah.
said they knew their account numbers and where everything was supposed to be.
We
and
had
to the
everything
penny
marked
pretty
out
well,
for them,
so,
down to, we
yeah.
have the sheet that every day tells
Yeah.
us where we're at on our collateral. And so,
I think they've done it exactly what we want them to do, and more so maybe.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it. Do we need to act all those at once? Do we need
I'd
to
split them up.
split them up? Okay.
I'll make a motion to ratify the creation of the LPWA account at American Exchange Bank with the transfer of the 1.3 million we took over on Thursday and Friday, with designated signers of the mayor, the vice mayor, the treasurer, the comptroller,
yeah.
and make it a viewable account by the city clerk and the city manager.
Second.
Okay. Motion and second has been made. Roll call, please.
Inman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Drennan,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Blau,
I have one question, just one. Is this other bank in town?
Yes.
American Exchange.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay, now, number 2 was to,
To allow us to also do a city account. We
City
haven't done
account.
it yet, but we
at
want
American
to.
Exchange. So we'd have
Right.
both accounts at both places, city and LPW at both places.
I'll make a motion to create a City of Lindsay account at the American Exchange Bank with the same stipulations as the previous motion.
Second.
Motion's been made second. Roll call, please.
Blau,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Drennan,
Yes.
Barker,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Inman,
Yes. Okay, number,
And the last thing would be that for Lisa to have the authority to deal with the FDIC, because she's the one that's
Right,
having
that's
to.
what
Okay.
this morning.
okay.
I'll
We
make
need
a motion, make a motion to give Lisa authority to deal with the FDIC about the money.
Second it.
Okay. Motion's been made and second. So you make a second? Okay,
Yeah.
second. Roll call, please.
Inman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Barker,
Yes.
Drennan,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Blau,
Yes.
Okay, that's all that, right?
I think that is all of that, so.
And if something comes up, we,
And if we end up having to need like approved minutes or something, I may do another quick, special meeting so we can get approved minutes, if that's the case, because sometimes they want them approved and we may not want to wait clear till the next
but-
meeting.
yeah.
But we'll find that out, so, okay.
okay, number 4, restructure bank account, 5, excuse me, cemetery plot designations. Is that for us individually?
I'm hoping not, but, we have had several requests, about memorial benches. And when we were out looking, and some of the places that people have asked to put them, these are like under trees and areas, and what I'm gonna call these are non-buriable areas. Like, they're so tree rooty, or they have a little bit of a flood potential, or, they could still be sold at a way reduced value. Like, we could set some places up. We don't mind having memorial benches, especially if they put them in, the rows where we can mow well and that kind of thing. But they're not, like, if they put them out and they don't mark or they don't buy a plot, then there's no guarantees, like, for that area. So I'd like to be able to mark them and sell them at just kind of an individual request time. And again, they'll be in areas that are determined not variable. And so if they wanted to put one of the above-ground benches that even had a spot for cremations, those are available. And I'm trying to think, what would be a fair value? I think is it 300 for what's one of our burial?
350.
350?
For residents.
For just, a regular one that they're going to bury in, and they're 5 by 10?
Non-resident, they're. Yeah, 5 by.
I think they're 5 by
8. 5 by 8.
So,
They cost more if you're not a resident, right?
Yes, it does, yeah.
So, what would be a fair amount for, a area that, again, not
We need to
a burial?
designate the size.
I mean, they can buy one for $350 on a burial one and put a bench. That's still acceptable, but these would be in areas that are not,
Non-buried
Non-
areas.
Right.
Would we need to designate a size on those?
I think, yeah, I mean,
I
because,
would think it would be, because, I might come in and want mine to be twice as big as Mark Hall's,
yeah, and
They
so,
could get involved.
determine a size,
Sure,
and
sure.
then if they want twice that, they can pay
Twice
twice
that
the
much,
money. I
yeah.
mean, so, a bench was gonna fit on, maybe a 3 by 5.
Yeah, 3 by 5 or 3 by 4.
Yeah, so, what is that price that would be, a fair amount, and then, if they want twice that, then that's kind of how we do it. They could buy,
$100, is that not enough, too much? Don't know, I'm just throwing that out there.
Is that, I just got a question. Where's this money come from to do this?
It's whoever, if I'm gonna be buried out there, I pay
Yeah.
X number of dollars. If I'm gonna put a memorial.
Oh, so we're just
I'm
trying to
gonna
agree
pay-
on a price.
I go in and tell
what
them.
they would pay for us to designate this plot.
So I buy a bench out there that's 4 by 6, or whatever we determine. It costs $200 or $100 or whatever it costs, and I pay that money, and I can have the bench
We'll
put out
mark
there.
it,
It's all
give you
mine.
the deed, but it will be for a non-variable plot.
It's all
for
your
a-
cost and my
Yeah.
cost to put the bench out there. What if it costs me, I want gold lane or inlaid, well, and do whatever I want.
I would probably put these where they're like non-stone, because we really don't want just stones randomly put. This would be more like a bench, something that would be, if they're gonna do a stone, they probably need to go ahead and purchase the regular plot and
Yeah.
put it in the line and that kind of thing. But this would be a little different. So we'd have to work on
There's-
some wording
yeah.
with Ray, but.
What if you just, if it's a non-burial plot, charge them $175, that's half of what the
That'd be probably
$350
good.
would be. And if they want to buy that, same size as a normal plot, then they could buy it, then they put a bench at our standard.
So are you saying the lot be the same size as a regular one, but half the price?
If it's a non-burial plot.
Yeah,
That's what
okay.
I'm saying. If it's a burial plot, you charge them the $350.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
If they want to put one next to mom and dad, per se, then you, and they buy a plot for it, it'd cost them $350, but they
Yeah.
stick it down here in a non-burial, charge them $175 and
and you
do
can
that.
you might even cut the size down, I don't know.
Right.
That's-
Well, I mean, it's,
If you're doing 175 on the resident, what do you want to do on the out-of-town people? You gotta kind of have the pay grade for both.
What do we charge out of town?
What do we charge?
500.
500,
Make it 250.
250, yeah, just that way it'd be half, it'd be easy to.
I would
raise the
think
cost.
you probably wouldn't want to mark the size down if you're going that much,
Yeah,
going
Yeah.
half the price.
that's what I'm saying is it,
If it's, and once we fill that area up, well, sorry, I mean,
yeah.
you buy a full-size plot if you wanted to
I
have.
mean, by the time you,
I think it might be a good idea to stay with the full size and not start having them because
Might be.
you get on
you
top of
start
it.
measuring off. If
Yeah.
people buys a half of a plot,
Yeah, it's
you
gonna
could
be
start
tougher.
offsetting graves
And it
on the
might
areas.
look a little funny in
Yeah.
the area if you didn't have it spread out enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is it what everybody, want to put that in form of a motion, or you guys want to talk more about it, or
I put in form,
y'all okay with that, you think?
I put in form a motion that we charge 175 for a non-burial plot. And then if they want to put a bench on it,
And if that's a resident cost, if it's a
yeah, that's
non-resident,
resident cost,
it'd
and
be
non-resident would be 250.
250.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded, everybody understand? Okay, roll call, please.
Lau,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Drennan,
Yes.
Barker,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Inman.
Yes. Okay, I guess adjourn,
Yeah.
motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn, roll call, please.
Inman,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Barker,
Yes.
Drennan,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Lau.
Yes.
All right.
None.